Can Superman save Hollywood? Well, nerdrotic, I've got the answer for you. Even though I'm going to watch your video and see what your answer is. No! Okay. Get over to Nerdrotic and subscribe. Tell them Tyrone Magnus sent you. Boy.
Nerdrotic.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million awakening wonders and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. I think it's needless to say, but I'll say it anyway, that Superman is an important film. Not just for DC, but for Hollywood. I don't think it's going out on a limb by saying that Warner Brothers has had a little bit of trouble grappling with the character of Superman in cinema in the recent past. It's not only the third reboot of this character in the last 20 years, this will be technically the third reboot of the DC universe in just over a decade. There was, of course, the ill-fated Snyderverse, and Zack still has a lot of his fans, but once Snyder was shown the door, they followed that up by bringing in Joss Whedon to create some kind of hodgepodge mutant zombie Snyderverse slash MCU, largely run by incompetent executives who don't work for Warner Brothers anymore. Oh, and there's some honorable mentions like WB releasing the Snyder Cut on HBO Max, which was better than the version we saw in theaters.
Damn right, a lot better.
Some unintended consequences like spreading false hope that Zack Snyder would return. There's the standalone Batman, which...
You know what I think? And I'm not joking, and I think a lot of you know this. If Rebel Moon had been, parts 1 and 2 had been smash hits, I think there might have been something there. Maybe. Okay? But I think James Gunn was already brewing, right? Doing that. Right? Yeah. So, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And still, I have hope that one day they'll let him finish. I don't want no animation. I want some live action. Finish his Justice League, and then there we go. Part 2, right? Yeah, Justice League Part 2.
Which is now turned into its own universe due to the success of the brilliant Penguin show. How will it stay that way? I don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
DC doesn't know.
You're right.
Of course, there was The Rock luring back
Never know.
Henry Cavill, and hopes were again reignited, and then immediately shot down when WB announced that James Gunn would be running DC, and his first act was to fire Henry Cavill. Despite some very upset Snyder fans, a lot of people were excited that James Gunn was taking over the DCU, and they couldn't wait to see what was next. Unfortunately, Warner Brothers still had 6 films to release, and they all flopped, which makes the canceled Batgirl the second most profitable DC film of the last act, unfortunately, Warner Brothers still had...
Damn. When you put them all together like that. Oh, man.
6 films to release, and they all flopped, which makes the canceled Batgirl the second most profitable DC film of the last 2 years next to Batman. And despite a couple of examples, their buddies down the street in Burbank, Disney Marvel haven't done the superhero film any favors of late.
Nope.
Oh, shut up! Silly woman!
And to be fair, a lot of fans start talking about the dreaded superhero fatigue, which, if that were true, would more likely be a symptom of overall Hollywood fatigue. Can Superman save the superhero film? Or more importantly, can Superman save Hollywood? And now that I've seen the trailer, I'm at a very definitive I don't know. Is it fair that the fans might have had some unrealistically high expectations for this trailer?
I don't think that one movie can do it. A string of movies can save Hollywood. A string of movies that are what? Ha ha! That's right, children. Not woke. A string of good movies that are not woke. You see, because if they're all woke, the majority of woke is always bad. It's always trash content. So the woke can't save it at all. Now, if you go back to doing what you used to do, business was kind of up and down, and you had your high points, you had your low points, but you were still in the game when you wasn't woken things up, Hollywood. Correct? Correct? All right, then. Get back to doing what you used to do, and you'll be fine.
Yes. Is it fair to DC and James Gunn that the fans unrealistically high expectations were not met with this trailer, leading to some fans being concerned. Yes, with the full understanding that this is a teaser trailer and an
I don't think the fans had unrealistic expectations. I mean, I think that you just had a lot of gun fans and hopeful fans, period, since it didn't really work out with the last, iteration of the DCEU, that it would be good. I think that people thought it would, but it split the fans. And half of the splitting, the majority of the power of the split was that stupid suit.
in no way tells you how good the movie will actually be. We can only go off of what we're given, and we're going to do...
The trailer will never tell you how good a movie will be, but it can give you a clue. You know what I mean? Trailers are hit or miss. They're little pieces of artwork themselves. Just because the trailer is good doesn't mean the movie's going to be good. But sometimes, you know how it is, fans. You see a movie trailer and you're like, you have no doubt that this is a milestone. This is Oscar worthy. Correct? Sometimes when you know, you know. You just know. But, yeah, I hear a lot of fans say that. Oh, it's just a teaser trailer. You guys don't... yeah. Yeah and no. Yeah and no. Sometimes you just know. I got a bad feeling about this movie. However, I hate going to see movies that I don't enjoy. Who wants to sit for 90 minutes, 2 hours, 2.5 hours or more sometimes through something that they don't like? I'm hoping it somehow wins me over.
Do what fans do. Give our opinion, whether people like it or not.
Yep.
The trailer opens up with a beaten and bloody Superman being saved by Crypto. No, not that kind of Crypto. Crypto, the Superdog.
Home. Gave me home.
Now, some people might find Crypto a bit cheesy, but I think it's very Superman, aside from the fact that James Gunn based Crypto on his own dog and we have more unnecessary breed swapping in Hollywood. I like the scene, and hey, Crypto's still white. To state the obvious, first impressions are everything with a trailer like this, and a lot of the first initial reactions I saw.
But is Crypto a girl this time? Guess we'll just have to wait and see, huh?
It's a bit
he
busy.
did change the sexuality of the dog in the what? Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas thing? So, we shall see.
And they're not wrong. Now, while Crypto is saving Superman, they intercut some scenes from Metropolis, including Clark Kent with that muffin head Edgar haircut that makes him look like Hassan Piker. That's going to dig your...
I saw someone say, yeah, that Clark makes him look more grounded and realistic. Who do you know that bumbles and fumbles around walking through the city with that mop on their hair flopping? And who do you know? Come on. Realistic.
I'm Hassan Piker, and this is Bro Tip.
A real job doesn't suck the soul out of you in the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
We get a quick shot of Pruitt Taylor Vince as Pa Kent. This guy is...
I thought that made so much sense. I was like, Pa Kent dies from a heart attack. That man looks sick and like he's overweight and got diabetes and will eventually have a heart attack.
Usually cast as some sort of psychopath, but if they were looking for an actor who looks most likely to die of
I've never seen him
that's your
before.
guy.
See?
There is some good. I like Crypto. The Daily Planet looks like the Daily Planet. Lois Lane, played by Rachel Brosnahan, looks like Lois Lane, and holy shit, Jimmy Olsen's white. But Perry White is not. My absolute favorite shot of the trailer is this.
You always see, it was funny, somebody said this to me years ago. He said, you notice how you always meet black people with the name, if you meet someone with the last name White, they're black. But then you meet somebody that's white, with the last name, I said it all wrong. People with the last name White you meet are always black. But when you meet someone with the last name Black, they're always white. I was like, I don't know anybody black with the last name Black. I know a Clint Black.
And I completely agree with our good friend and prolific comic writer, Mark
Good old
Millar.
Zack Snyder
yes,
slow-mo.
I recently found out it's Miller, but I'm too old to change my ways. When he clearly states the difference between Superman and Batman. Coolest shot in the trailer. Batman fights dudes, Superman rescues people. And I think if there was more of the saving people in this trailer, it might have had more emotional impact. Instead, we get a bunch of quick cuts that try to introduce more characters, which is a concern, and try to give us a feel of the trailer, which I don't necessarily think we get. There's a kid raising a flag to Superman, which I like.
Wait a minute.
Feel of the trailer, which I don't necessarily think.
Someone claims that he's not wearing any shorts here. But we can't tell because his arm is all in the way of this. So I can't tell if he's wearing shorts at all. We'll just have to wait and see. It's a possibility he's not wearing them.
We get. There's a kid raising a flag to Superman, which I liked. There's a group of angry people and one guy throwing something at Superman. Now, in the world of Superman, it certainly makes sense that there would be large groups of people who don't like
the kid raising the flag like Superman reminds me of, like, to get his attention, to save them, reminds me like when I think, didn't in Zach's they have his symbol painted on their house to save them during the flood or something?
him at first. My only concern is, within this movie, what
And yes, he does look like Agent 47, the hitman.
type of people don't like Superman. It certainly works within the comics. There will be large groups of people who are very suspicious of this superpowered individual. But is James Gunn, Peter Safran, Warner Brothers, and Hollywood overall going to be able to resist the urge to make them a stand-in for...
By the way, you're going to have plenty of fans that are going to tear this movie to shreds with any similarities that it has to Zack Snyder, because people were saying this and that about Zack Snyder's stuff, and oh, this is that, and he's bad, and you know, it's too dark and all this. They're already tearing the trailer apart before its similarities to Zack's style, to Superman being mopey and not smiling that people were complaining about. They're going to tear this movie apart if he has any similarities to Zack Snyder. Watch. It's coming. It ain't going to be me, but I'm going to be watching the videos.
Example, MAGA. I don't think James Gunn is that stupid, but time will tell. Then there's all the other characters. I don't think James Gunn is able to resist the urge to make them a stand-in. Peter Safran, Warner Brothers, and Hollywood overall going to be able to resist the urge to make them a stand-in for example, MAGA. I don't think James Gunn is that stupid.
Well, he already said the beaten Superman is the United States, so we'll see.
Time will tell. Then there's all the other characters. One we expect, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and he looks pretty good. There's Hawk Girl, minus some points for that terrible costume, but add some more for fighting a monster. Mr. Terrific looks good. There's Metamorpho, and what I suspect the most...
Not to me. As accurate as he is, I do not like his look. Like I said, it has a hokey The Boys look, parody, cosplay. And cosplay is often exact. But you look at some of the best cosplayers, their suits are just 100% comic accurate, and they look dumb.
People will be talking about,
this doesn't translate sometimes.
Is Guy Gardner, played by Nathan Fillion, and his haircut. To be fair, it's pretty close to the one in the...
Yeah, like I said, just because they did it in the comics doesn't mean it translates well. Nathan Fillion. Okay, yeah. I knew I recognized him, but I was just like, okay. The haircut really threw me off.
The comics, they just decided to dial it up to 11. We see Luthor Corp before it becomes Lex Corp. We get to see the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah,
At least I think so,
that.
Because it looks awfully familiar
it
to
is.
Christopher Reeve Fortress of Solitude. I thought the trailer overall was all right. It didn't hurt itself, but it also didn't dispel any of my concerns. One of them being too many characters. Didn't hurt itself, but it also didn't dispel...
Homelander, Black Noir.
Any of my concerns. One of them being too many characters taking away from what should be just a good solo Superman film.
movie.
And that goes along with the counting your chickens before they're hatched, announcing an entire universe when you should just be focusing on a solo Superman film and making it really good. My biggest concern remains putting the authority in the DC universe where they don't belong. But there was a lot I liked, including David Corenswet, who looks like Superman, and I liked most of the costume except for that stupid collar. And there's romance. Heteronormative romance between...
He likes it. He said he liked most of the costume except for the stupid collar. Wow. That's nerdrotic, though. That's his opinion. He's entitled to that opinion. Do you think I'm going to make a video attacking him? You're not a real Superman fan, nerdrotic. You don't know anything.
A man and a woman in a Hollywood-produced superhero film. We don't see that often. And I like a lot of what I'm hearing about this movie from the people actually creating it. I like that the poster says, "Look up." I love that they're talking about a hopeful and optimistic Superman, including producer Peter Safran saying this: Superman represents truth, justice, and the American...
Let me tell you something. All this hoopla around what they're saying that they want to represent and what they're doing and all this other stuff, it don't mean nothing to me. The finished product is what's going to mean something to me. And they're already starting off on a bad foot with that horrible suit. So we'll just see. We're just going to have to see. Talk. All this other stuff. And people are already ripping apart the trailer about you copying Zach and about him not smiling as the Superman and all this hopeful stuff that we didn't see. So, you know what I mean? Like Henry Cavill he saved people too. So it's like we don't see nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. It's just a teaser trailer. We shall see. The full trailer comes out, and we shall see when the movie comes out. Find out next time on Superman Z. Superman Z. Ha! Super, rock the Superman Z.
Way, which is a far cry from what we've gotten in the comics and recently in film, because it seems like Hollywood and most people writing these days have a hard time figuring out Superman because he's good, and most people in Hollywood wouldn't know what that is. Both comic publisher and...
Someone said John Cena has a problem getting over because he's not really a good guy. I remember seeing this wrestler say that, and I was like, uh-oh.
Movie producer has seemed apologetic about Superman. Now, James Gunn has said that this movie is going to be a self-contained story that doesn't lead or spread off anywhere else, which is good. We'll see if he sticks to that. He also said he's going to embrace all of the Superman mythology, which is great, unless he embraces some of the mythology from the last few years in the comics, which would be very bad. James Gunn also said this: "We do have a battered Superman in the beginning," he said, referring to the opening of the teaser, and he implied the opening of the film itself, with Superman careening into the ice. That is our country. I believe in the goodness of human beings, and I believe that most people in this country, despite their ideological beliefs, their politics, are doing...
And they should have had a whistle for crypto. Home. Boy, take me home, away from the woke. That's what they should have did.
Their best to get by and be good people. That sounds great, but he does continue. Despite what it may seem like
The
to the
woke
other
has
side,
destroyed this country.
Might be. This movie is about that. It's about the basic kindness of human beings, and that it can be seen as uncool and under siege by some of the darker voices or some of the louder voices. Now, what does James Gunn mean about some of the darker voices or louder voices? Your guess is as good as mine. That statement has led some to speculate on Twitter that those louder and darker voices might be a stand-in for a certain group of people in this country that just so happens to represent more than half of it that Hollywood hasn't had a very good relationship with lately. movie. I'm not going to go that far because, again, I don't think James Gunn's that stupid, but you have every right to your speculation because Hollywood does not deserve the benefit of the doubt. But
yeah, because they've got me tripping over my words. They've continued to F so many franchises up, so many characters up. Everything, gaming, comic books, TV shows. It's like, why would you think that they wouldn't make more dumb decisions? I believe that in many of these decisions, you've got activists behind it. You've got CEOs that are just making stupid decisions. You've got people that have level minds, that do have common sense, that are having their hands forced. They're being forced to do it. You've heard people talk about forced this and forced that. So why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? But all the claims are, all the murmurings are, that all these companies are going away from the garbage that they've been injecting that has been destroying them. We're just going to have to see. But see, this is a tentpole movie. When you want to feed something to people, and make sure it's one that a lot of eyes are going to get on. Let's see what happens.
I would be remiss if I didn't point out what James Gunn said later in the Variety article. I'm excited for people to get to see the essence of what we're doing because it's really been like this private secret we've all been hoarding, he said. We felt really good about it, like from a moral place. Even from the beginning, we felt like we were doing something good, both in terms of quality and in terms of actually something that's not a fascistic power fantasy. Something Variety points out that he instantly regrets saying. I'm not saying that about other superhero movies in general, he added, as if anticipating the displeasure that sentiment might spark in the hardcore fans of Zack Snyder's DC films, which has been criticized for indulging in, well, fascistic power fantasies. Personally, I find the kind of people who say fascistic and fascist often in their vocabulary unironically authoritarian, but I digress. Listen, having sold comic books to DC fans for over 10 years, I know one thing. They are far more passionate than Marvel fans. So good luck, James Gunn, dealing with what you're going to have to deal with. It comes with the territory. And yes, we are just talking about a teaser trailer. And yes, people are going to be meticulously breaking this down for the next week. We're nerds. It's what we do. To give you an example of a perfect teaser trailer, which just came out.
Every time I see that suit, it makes me think, you know, if I had superpowers and I was working on this movie with James Gunn, as soon as he changed out of that suit to take a bathroom break or take lunch or whatever it is, makes me want to fly over, grab it. Zack Snyder, Superman, that joint. Whoosh, whoosh, bzz, 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 bzz. Just destroy that damn suit. Like, what happened to the suit? I don't know, like all my eyebrows and my eyelashes would be sizzling from releasing that much heat vision on that damn suit.
Within the last couple of weeks, 28
Smells
days later,
toasty in here, Tyrone. What are you eating in here? Nothing, sir. Nothing. I'll get on and I'll try to help you find that suit. All right. Bye-bye then.
and it was simple. It gave you a feel for the film, the emotional tone while giving nothing away. The Superman trailer tried to do that, but it just missed. But it did pull off the most important thing. It looks hopeful, and that's what we could all use, and timing is everything. It certainly helped the first Spider-Man movie by Sam Raimi post 9/11.
I think it's supposed to look hopeful, but I'm not hopeful.
Since Alan Moore's Watchmen, the superhero has been thoroughly deconstructed and then deconstructed some more, and we are far past time to reconstruct the superhero. And going back to our original question, can this movie save Hollywood? Not so sure about that, but I do think it's fitting that the fate of DC Studios and the superhero film will be determined by Superman. No pressure, James Gunn.
nerdrotic.com.
If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long. I will see you in the
So I
next
watch
video.
Nerdrotic a lot. And that was the Nerdrotic music. All right. Yeah, so I don't think it can save Hollywood at all. And that suit is definitely a precursor. It's divided the fans. And through all of my videos, the likes to dislikes, the likes are ratioing the dislikes. So it could possibly be because it's just my subscribers are watching, people that like me are watching. But could also be that more people don't like the suit than like it, and that could be a problem when this movie comes out. So it is what it is. I think I did a poll before, and I think it was like half. It was almost half and half. It was like just a little bit more y'all liked it than disliked it. Like, I mean, it was like slight. It was like maybe 1% more liked it than didn't like it. And then a lot were like, just like, meh. I think it was more meh than anything than like it or dislike it. It was like, it's like really close between who, it's like the fandom really is split like almost 50%. So it's like, oh, well, it is what it is. I guess we'll have to see who shows up and shows out. But Gunn's got to show up and show out with this movie and it's all being put on him, his name. It ain't Corn Sweat. You know what I mean? It's him. Just like they heaped everything on Zach, they're heaping all this on him. We'll see what happens. Yeah. 10 million subscribers.